And then the other side, the QPA, so the qualified payment amount that we've talked about. And maybe just quick reminder, the QPA, the lion's share of the reason for the QPA is in calculating cost share. This is the major driver of why health plans need to calculate the QPA. It also does factor, as I mentioned, number three, it's an input to the IDR. It can be in some circumstances has been used, for provider payments, and it shows up on the advanced DOBs. We're not going to cover that in detail here, but it it it's important in other areas. It's mainly used in cost share. QPAs, as a provider, or as the QPAs may seem, how did this get generated? And there's a reason for that. Then that is because the calculation of an in-network median. Let me back up. The NSA guidance is over 400 pages long. 80 of those pages dictate how you calculate this QPA, and there's a lot of rules. It as well. It strives to calculate this in-network QPA based on the service code, the specialty of the provider, are you in Chicago or are you in Springfield or wherever the metropolitan area that you're in, or a non-MSA. What service category is this? Anesthesiology? Is it outpatient, inpatient? Office visits? And then it says also calculate these by insurance market, because we know often retail prices are different than group prices. Well, that's a lot of factors. Then that leads to potentially a lot of QPAs. So as well, the legislation says you need to have at least 3 rates. Well, when you're slicing and dicing by so many different dimensions, you often run into a case where you don't have 3 rates. And then there's sufficiency rules that come into play, etc. So we've talked about a few of these challenges for payers. The calculation is complicated. There's a multi-layered kind of weaving together of rates and construction of these rates that has been challenging for payers and third-party administrators, especially for smaller health plans, mid-sized health plans. And there's some maintenance required. You need to make sure that you're supplying how you calculated them. They need to be updated for inflation each year. There's new codes that come out, and there's specific rules around how to calculate QPAs for new codes. As well, if you didn't have enough information in the first round of QPA calculation, now there's a whole section on how to calculate those now that you do have sufficient information. So, long story short, QPAs, are not easy to generate. So let's move on. We wanted to highlight an example of why they're complicated. In the interest of time, we won't spend too long on this, but when we talk about rates, oftentimes rates they're not fixed rates, right? Many providers on this call, many payers on this call are paying based on different methods, right? There can be percent of charge based payments. Medicare schedules are being fee for service, fee for code. There can be lesser ofs. There can be all sorts of different payment mechanics that make calculating a median of a rate that is a little hard to pin down challenging. So lots of challenges. Let's just, in the interest of time, I think the major opportunities for payers are the top two quadrants here on the right hand circle. I mean, there's opportunities to expand your network, and that's generally good from a network adequacy perspective. It's generally good for product construction. So there's opportunities to get out of non-contracted providers, into the appropriate network health plan networks. And then also it improves member and thereby large employer groups. It improves satisfaction. The elimination of surprise bills, the elimination of different payment scenarios to avoid members getting impacted is generally good. Certainly, we need to figure out payments and how all of that works, but there's some benefits here.